Hello everyone, I hope everything is going well with you. This is our first online lecture and we will take unit 2 that talks about the scientific community. Scientific community is about methods of communication. It's about methods of communication. Like, for example, if you want to read about any scientific topic or you want to ask any question about science, you can consult the scientific community. The scientific community, like what? Like, for example, academic journal. What is an academic journal? An academic journal is a publication where academic paper is published. All right, it's professional, it's aimed for the professional scientists. And we have a conference, an online forum or science blog. Online forum is a website where topics about science are posted. All right, so any topic about science, any questions and answers are posted in the online forum. Sometimes I speak in Arabic in order to make sure that you understand. So we have, for example, the online forum here means muntada, a popular science magazine. What is the meaning of popular science? Popular science is an explanation of science that is aimed for the general audience. So we have popular science is explanation or a simple explanation of science intended for general audience. So, for example, if someone is not specialized in science, all right, and want to know any topic about science, they can read popular science book or popular science magazine, popular science book or magazine. Why? Because it has simple explanation or simple interpretation about science. And we have a newspaper. We will match from number 1 to 6 and from A to F. We have an academic journal. It's, as I told you, a publication. So it will be, for example, aspirin or New Scientist or plasma physics. As I told you, an academic journal is or دورية علمية or مجلة أكاديمية. It's aimed for professionals. So it will not be, of course, aspirin, and it will not be New Scientist. It will be plasma physics. From the name, you feel that it's aimed for the professional scientists. We have, so academic journal will be number F. We have a conference. This is an image of a conference. An online forum or science blog. We have here number B, Nature Network. Nature Network. This is can be the name of an online forum or science blog. A popular science magazine and a popular science book. From the cover, we have here 2 publications. From the cover, this is a magazine, Popular Science magazine, New Scientist, and this is a cover of a book. So it's A popular science book will be number D, aspirin. A newspaper, we have here, of course, the Times, number C. So again, let me write for you the answers. We have number 1 will be F, number 2 will be A conference will be A, an online forum or science blog will be number B, a popular science magazine will be number E, popular science book will be number D, and a newspaper number C. All right, let's move to number C. In number C, what is important here? 2 words, specialism and field. All right, specialism and field. What is the difference between specialism and field? Specialism is specific, while field is general. So, for example, when I say, what is your field? The answer can be general, like, for example, you can say biology, right? But when I say, what is your specialism? This has to be specific, all right? Like, for example, you say molecular biology. All right? So a field is, as I told you, general. It's an area of study, right? So an area of study in science is, for example, biology. Specialism is an area within a subject, an area within a subject. It's very specific, all right? So what is important in exercise 1A and 1C is mainly vocabulary and scientific expressions. To know what is the meaning of academic journal, to know what is the meaning of popular science, and so on. And here to know what is the difference between specialism and field. Let's move to number D. In pairs, read the following statements and say which form or forms of communication from exercise 1E the speakers should use to find the information they want. Here, we will read these statements and we will say the speaker should, for example, see an academic journal, visit a conference, or visit an online forum, and so on. The important part here is the vocabulary. I'm trying to learn more about the Hadron Collider because it's big news, but it's not even close to my area, right? It's not close to my field. So I am finding the papers on it heavy going. What is the meaning of heavy going? Heavy going means difficult. Heavy going means difficult to read. Number 2, here, for example, what should this person read? This is not his specialism. This is not his field to know about Hadron Collider. So this person can, for example, read popular science magazine or popular science book, right? Because as I told you, it has simple explanation. So he or she can read popular science book or magazine. This one, number 2, at my university, I don't meet enough people in my field. I really need to network, right? As you can notice here, network here is verb, not a noun. Network here is a verb, not a noun. What is the meaning of network? Network means to interact with others in order to exchange information. So, network here as a verb means to interact with others to exchange information. I really need to network and build some connection with people working around the world. So if this person wants to get to know other people, all right, and make relation, how can this person do this? They can do it by going to a conference and meeting new people, right? Or, for example, by visiting an online forum and asking any questions they want. Number 3, I am having a problem with one of my protocols. What is the meaning of a protocol? A protocol is the method followed when doing a scientific experiment, right? So it's the method or the theory, that is followed in a scientific experiment. All right. So the protocol is mainly the theory, all right, النظرية. So this person is having a problem in one of his protocols. I have tried a few different things, but with no luck. I could do with some suggestions from other people of what to try next. So this person, for example, can go to a conference and show his work in order to see solutions for this problem. So this person can go to a conference. All right. So as I told you, what is important in this part is the vocabulary. Here we have people talking about problems, and we tell them what they should do, right? Like for example, this person لما بيقول إن المجال بتاعه بعيد عن الهادرون كولايدر، هيعمل إيه؟ يقدر إن هو يقرأ حاجة مبسطة. حاجة مبسطة دي العلوم المبسطة ممكن إن إحنا نلاقيها فين؟ في popular science book or a popular science magazine، بيبقى فيها شرح للحاجات المعقدة في الساينس، وبتبقى مش للناس البروفيشنال، لا بتبقى للناس العامة for general audience علشان يعرفوا عن العلوم دي. For example, this one لما بيقول إن هو عايز يعمل connections وعايز يعمل علاقات لأن هو ما بيقابلش ناس كتير at his university، يقدر إن هو يعمل إيه؟ يقدر إن هو يروح أي مؤتمر أو يروح أو يفتح أي منتدى أونلاين ويتعرف على ناس جديدة ويعمل connections. and as I told you, network here إحنا متعودين إن network تيجي كnoun، بس هنا بتيجي كverb. معناها إيه؟ معناها to build relations and interact with others in order to exchange information ولتبادل المعلومات. Number 3 بيقول إن هو عنده مشكلة in his protocols ده البارت في الريسيرش اللي بيبقى عن النظرية المتبعة the method. يقدر إن هو يعمل إيه؟ فهو عايز اقتراحات. يقدر إن هو يعمل إيه؟ يقدر إن هو يروح مؤتمر ويعرض الفكرة بتاعته in order to get ideas and suggestions, right? So here, let's move to the next part. This part. Read the following 5 extracts and then say which form or forms of communication from exercise 1A each one come from. So here we will read extracts, parts from different sources, right? Like for example, from an academic journal, from a conference, from online forum or science blog, popular science magazine, and so on. We will read these extracts and we will say we can find them in which source. Number A, more people were pain-free when using the handheld device than those who have used an identical dummy device. What is the meaning of dummy? Dummy means not real. Also, the study by Lipton et al. What is the meaning of et al? Et al is Latin, all right? That means and others, all right? When we have a writer for a book, like for example, Lipton and William and for example, John, instead of say this book is written by or this study is written by Lipton, William, and John, we say Lipton and others, Lipton and et al. Right? So et al here is Latin words that means and others. Right? وآخرون. So this study is written by Lipton and others, et al., has reliable results. There are some points to consider whether when putting these findings into context. Importantly, the results will need to be verified. What is the meaning of verified? It means examined or confirmed in larger trials. What is the meaning of trial? Trial means an experiment to test something. An experiment to test something. So where can we find this part? Of course, the more than one answer is allowed. Here, as you can see, we can find in-text citation. In-text citation. What is the meaning of in-text citation? Like, for example, when you read from a source, you have to write the writer of this source, Lipton, the year this study is published, 2010, all right? So this in-text citation means that this part is taken from a professional source. So we can find it in an academic paper published, for example, in a book or in academic journal. All right, again, here we have extracts, مقاطع, and we will say from which source we can find these extracts. واحنا هنقول من أي مصدر ممكن نلاقي الextracts دي. So, for example, here we have in-text citation. In-text citation. In-text citation means that when we read any source, you write the writer, like here Lipton, and you write the year of publication, which is 2010. This means that this source is academic. It's an academic source. It's not an article that is written in a newspaper or an online forum. No, it's an academic source. So we can find it in a book or an academic journal, all right? Let's move to number B. Tea and coffee drinkers have a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. A large body of evidence shows. All right? As you can see here, a large body of evidence shows. This means what? It's not academic. We didn't say who. We say a large body of evidence, a lot of research say this, all right? But we don't have who say this, all right? And like this example, like for example, when this one say Lipton et al. Now here we say a large body of evidence. This is very general. And the protection may not be down to caffeine, since decaf coffee has the greatest effect. Be down to means be the results of. Be the result of. All right. So the protection from diabetes 2 may not be because of caffeine, since decaf coffee has the greatest effect. Say researchers. You see here, researchers. Who are the researchers? It's very general. In archives of internal medicine, all right? So here we don't have who is the researcher, and we don't know the name of the research, because the writers say a large body of evidence shows. So where can we find this? We can find it in, for example, a newspaper. Why we can find it in a newspaper and not, for example, in an academic journal? Because there is no citation. I told you here that here there is in-text citation, right? يعني الكاتب كتب المرجع بتاعه فين. But here there is no citation. We don't know who is the researcher, and we don't know what is the study. It's just here the writer says a large body of evidence show, and he writes say researchers without saying their names. All right, let's move here to number C. Whatever can be rapidly generated by lentivirus-mediated transgenesis. RNA interference also holds great promise as a novel therapeutic approach. This report provides an insight into the current gene silencing technique in mammalian system. So as you can see from the language of this part, there are a lot of scientific expressions, right? And scientific language that is aimed for professionals. So we have here professional scientific language. This means that this part is taken from an academic journal. It's taken from an academic journal that is aimed for scientists. All right, here we have an insight into, provides insight into. You see this expression? Provide insight into means gives information about. To provide an insight into means give information about, or give introduction about something, right? Information or introduction about. So as we said that this will be found, can be found in an academic journal because it has a specific description of scientific language, and it has also abbreviation, RNA interference. So this is abbreviation that can be understood only by scientists. All right, let's move to number D. Hi, has anyone had any experience with the nanoparticles sticking to glassware? If so, does anyone know if there is a suitable silation protocol to pre-treat the glassware to do something about this annoying non-specific absorption things? So as we can see in this part, we have hi, and we have general address, has anyone, and we have emoticon here, and thanks exclamation mark. From this style of writing, where can you find this style of writing? Of course, you can find it online. So we can find this part in, for example, an online forum or on a science blog. Because of hi and the emoticon and so on, and the general address. All right, let's move to number E, animal and in vitro studies. What is the meaning of in vitro? In vitro is also Latin as ital, as the word ital, that means others. In vitro also is Latin, and it means happening in an artificial condition, such as a test tube. So when I say in vitro studies, it means that it happens in test tube, all right? So happening in an artificial condition as in test tube. So for example, it can be done in a laboratory, all right? It's not in nature. So animal and in vitro and in vitro studies suggest that aspirin may inhibit. What is the meaning of inhibit? Inhibit means prevent. Inhibit means prevent. It may prevent breast cancer metastasis. What is the meaning of metastasis? It means the spread of a disease, especially cancer cells, from one part of the body to another. So we have metastasis. It means what? The spread of disease, especially cancer cells from one body part to another. All right? So animal and in vitro studies that is made in the laboratory, suggest that aspirin may inhibit, may prevent, يمنع breast cancer metastasis, the spread of breast cancer cells, cancer cells. We studied whether aspirin use among women with breast cancer decreased the risk of death from the breast cancer. This was a prospective observational study. What is the meaning of prospective observational study? Let's open the whiteboard. Prospective observational study. It means a study in which one group of people who receive a particular treatment are followed over time and compared with another group of people who did not receive the treatment. Again, it's a study in which one group of people who receive a treatment are followed over time and compared with another group who did not receive the treatment. So we have, for example, a group of people. We give these people treatment, all right? Any kind of treatment, and then we observe them or follow them over time وبنشوفهم بالوقت تأثير الدواء ده عليهم إيه, all right? And then we compare them, بنقارنهم with another group بمجموعة تانية ما أخدوش العلاج ده أو الدواء ده. alright. يبقى ده اسمها prospective observational study، إن إحنا نجيب مجموعة من الناس نديهم علاج معين ونشوفهم في وقت معين a specific period of time، نشوفهم في مدة زمنية معينة ونقارنهم بمجموعة تانية ما أخدوش العلاج ده عشان نشوف تأثير العلاج. alright. So number E, we can find number E in, for example, an academic journal. Why? Because of the use of Latin words. Not all people know the Latin words. So this can be an academic journal. All right. Or, for example, high quality science magazine. All right. So what is important in this part is two things. The first one is the vocabulary that I have written for you. And the second thing is to know the different styles of language, all right? To know the different styles of language. As you can see, let me write it for you. To know the different language styles. As you can see, when we have read number A and number, for example, C, I told you this is what language that is aimed for professional, right? And then when we have read number D, I told you that this is informal language. Here we said that this is formal language. That's why we said that we can find this formal language in an academic journal. And we said in number D, this is informal. We can find it, for example, in science blog, right? Or we can find it in an online forum. So the language style is very important because it tells us what is the source. And when you, for example, write in a science blog, you can't write in a formal language. When you write in an academic journal, you can't write in informal language, right? So the language style is very important. Let's know more about the styles of language here in exercise 3E. The language we use change according to why we are writing, which is the purpose, and who we are writing for, the reader. Like, for example, when you write for a professional scientist, is different from when you write for general audience. لما نكتب ونخاطب ناس متخصصين، علماء متخصصين، هيبقى مختلف ان احنا نكتب ونخاطب الناس عامة، right? Complete the second column of the table below carefully, reading the appropriate extract from A to E. We have here ask the reader questions, like, for example, had anyone had? There is another question, like in extract number D. in extract number D, which is, does anyone know? All right. Use multi-word verbs. Use multi-word verbs, which means a verb and an adverb or a preposition. Like, for example, be down to in exercise B. Be down to. We said that be down to means what? Means be the result of, right? Or do something about. Use the exclamation marks and emoticon. We find this, for example, in hi, and when the writer say this emoticon and saying thanks, all right, in extract D. Use non-specific references to the work of others. You remember in extract B, when the writer said, say, researchers, and the writer didn't say who are the researchers. And we have in number 5, use a specific reference to the work of others, researchers. This is, of course, can be found in extract number A, when the writer use in-text citation, citing the writer saying Lipton et al., Lipton and others, and 2010, which is the year of publication. As I told you, this is called in text. Why it's called in text? Because it means citation inside the writing, inside the piece of writing, inside the study, right? Because there's citation في كتابة مراجع في نهاية the study، في نهاية أي بحث، وفي كتابة مراجع جوه البحث نفسه. فلما نيجي نكتب المرجع جوه البحث بنكتب اسم الكاتب like for example ليبتون، وبنكتب سنة النشر، alright، وبنكتب كمان الصفحة المفروض. وفي كتابة مراجع اللي هي ما بيبقاش اسمها بقى in text citation، بيبقى اسمها citation بس، بتبقى في نهاية البحث اللي احنا بنكتبه. Number 6, use impersonal phrases to avoid saying you or we. When we write something that is formal, right? A formal piece of writing, مثلا في academic paper, we don't say I, we don't say you or we. No, we write in impersonal phrases. Like, for example, saying there are some points to consider, or like saying in extract E, this is a prospective observational study. All right. Prospective observational study uses passive verbs to avoid saying who carries out a process. This can be found in extract number A, when the writer say will need to be verified, and the other example can be rapidly generated. Uses Latin language expressions. We find ital, that we said means and others. And the second thing is in vitro, that is mean done in an artificial condition like a test tube, right? So as we see from this part, here we have the different styles of language, right? And these are the examples. As you can see, using a Latin language expression, this is what? This is a formal style of writing, right? Using passive verbs to avoid saying who carries out the process. Instead of saying I did the experiment, no, we say the experiment is done, right? So instead of saying who does this, we use the passive verb. This is also formal way of writing, a formal style of language. Using impersonal phrase to avoid saying you, we, I, this is also formal. Using specific reference to the work of others in text citation, of course, this is formal piece of writing. When you say specifically who done this work and the year of publication and so on, this is formal. Use non-specific reference to say, for example, instead of saying the name like this example, we don't say it. We say researchers. A researcher said. Who is the research? I don't write. This is informal. This is informal. Using expressions and emoticon, of course, this is informal. It's used mainly on the internet. Uses multi-word verb like be down to, do something about. This is informal. Asking the reader questions. This is also informal. In academic paper, if you ask a question, you have to answer it. You have to answer it. This is when you write a paper, right? But in, for example, online forum, you ask the question and you let other people answer, all right? يبقى لما نيجي نكتب بحث، بنكتب السؤال، لازم السؤال ده يتجاوب في خلال البحث. يعني احنا بندي للقارئ سؤال وبندي له الإجابة. ولكن في مثلا اونلاين فورم احنا بنسأل السؤال وفعلا ما بنبقاش عارفين الإجابة ونستنى the reader to write the answer, all right? So as we can see, from 1 to 4 are informal style of writing or informal language, style of language, and from 5 to 8 formal style of language.